And welcome to the episode of DIOTALK. I'm Dio. Let's talk. My guest of the evening is the host of the Formless Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dustin Salsi. Welcome to the show, man. How are you?
Awesome. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So talk to me about, you got this awesome podcast. I was listening briefly to it. Like what inspired you to create such fun podcast? Because it's definitely fun, the Sugar Man.
Yeah. So what this is about almost 2 years ago now. I got my black belt in a style of martial arts that's very obscure.
Congrats.
Thank you. It's something I wanted to do since, forever. And me and 5 other guys tested the same day for our black belts. And we all kind of, we're all different ages, different professions, different, came from different worlds, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I was talking with one of them who happens to be an amateur filmmaker, and I started this journey when I was 12 years old and got out of it. And as an adult with children of my own, my whole family got back into it.
Nice.
And one of the things that always bugged me when I was a kid was no one knew what this was, and they all thought it was junk. It wasn't like Taekwondo or Kempo or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that, it wasn't a talked about thing.
Yeah.
So it kind of bugged me as a kid. Everybody that knew anything about the martial arts are like, well, what the heck's this? And it's the name of the style is called Wu Ying Tao, and it means no form way. And so that's where the Formless Podcast came from. And so as I was talking to my buddy Tyler, who's also my co-host, he was like, well, we should do something about that. We should let people know. And I'm like, well, like what? Make a movie? Do a podcast? He's like, let's do a podcast.
Nice.
So we've been at it for a year, and the first few attempts, maybe the first dozen episodes or something or so, we just interviewed people from the school and how they got into it and how they did it, and it eventually kind of morphed into lessons and things that we've learned along the way and what we're still learning, and different challenges and things, and how it relates to others. We've brought in other martial artists and interviewed them from different schools and stuff, and it's just been a blast. The whole thing has been a labor of love. It's truly just fun.
That's awesome, man. I love the fact that you were able to take the camaraderie you had in the school and take it outside and create something so meaningful. Like, I've never heard of that type of martial arts before, so I think it's awesome to hear what you guys are doing. That's amazing. Kudos to you guys, man.
Yeah, thanks. And the whole idea was, it's given me something. So it's given me so much. And I've seen people change and grow for the better. And it was like, if I can give somebody, without opening my own school, because that's a whole nother headache and stress that I don't think I'm equipped for. But if I could give somebody a little something of that I have, and encourage them to be better and be healthier and train whatever style, then let's go for it.
What's it like? Like, what can you elaborate?
Absolutely. So if you're familiar with Krav Maga,
yes.
Okay, that's probably the closest thing to relate to it. It was started by an American in the late 60s in Portland, Oregon, and the guy who started it was Bruce Terrell, and he's still around. he basically he was a martial artist. He was going to these tournaments
Mhm.
and seeing things and seeing different styles represented. And it's mainly a stand-up style, punching and kicking. But one of the things that it changed, or I don't know if it changed, it for lack of a better word, it mutated. Okay.
Got it.
And somebody would bring something in and it would be advantageous. Okay. It started out traditionally punching and kicking, but as grappling got involved and like MMA, as that stuff got popular, it was like, we need to learn how to do some of this. We need to be comfortable with this because
Yeah.
we didn't have any techniques for that stuff. So we started learning some ground game. Muay Thai got exploded in the early 90s. That stuff, elbows, knees, shin kicks, things like that is like, oh, hey, we need to take a little of this and adapt it to what we have. Not to dominate it, not to say that we can do it better than they can, but so we're familiar with it.
Prepare.
So we learn, and that's one of the things that I really enjoy about it. If somebody comes in with a fresh idea and it works, use it,
Yeah.
and it takes a little bit. It takes, because egos get involved, right?
Yeah.
You
That's like in every martial art. Every martial art.
exactly,
Yeah. Right?
exactly. So you and I totally understand. You work on something, you put years of time and effort into it. I wouldn't want people to mess with my stuff. This is
Yeah.
mine. So I think it takes a special person to look at something like that and go, hey, this isn't necessarily better, but that works, and let's adapt to it. Let's
Yeah.
take something from this and see if we can make it work too, or at least if nothing else, we have a better idea of how somebody else does something.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a big stew. Somebody, so you like carrots and I like celery. Well, hey, let's combine it instead of dividing
Right.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it never really blew up. It never really got huge. It started to get big. I guess from my understanding, it was growing in the early 70s, on into the early 80s. And for whatever reason, it just kind of petered out. There's three schools, two established schools that have been around for a number of years, and one that's struggling and growing, we'll say. One in my local area, Redding, Redding, California, small town in the far north end of California that nobody's ever heard of.
Wow.
And I say that because when you hear Northern California, everybody thinks San Francisco
Yeah.
or Sacramento, and there's like 500 square miles of California beyond Sacramento. So anyway, so we're the far end of Northern California, and then there's another school from my original teacher, Sensei Herb Blue, who is in Green Bay, Wisconsin,
Got it.
and he's got a fairly good sized school out there. And then there's another gentleman by his name escapes me right now, but he's in California as well.
Nice. That's awesome. How long did it
Yeah.
take you? How long did it take you to achieve your black belt?
Well, so I started when I was 12. We quit. I had to move away when I was a kid. My dad's job changed, so we moved away, came back, got married.
Built a life.
Yeah, built a life. Almost 30 years later, I get back into it. All told, it was like 6 or 7 years before I got my black. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is leveling up. How many colors of belts?
Oh
Your
gosh.
your traditional colors?
Um, so white, blue. We have so you
Purple.
have like, yeah, white, blue, purple, green, red, brown, black, but there's 2 levels in each one. So
Okay.
14. Yeah. So
Wow.
you get like your beginner belt, then you get an advanced belt, and then you go to the next color.
Yeah, yeah.
So but that was no less than 3 days a week, and practicing at home, and just working my tail off.
I hear that, man. I hear that.
Yeah.
That's the only
So
way to do it.
yeah, when you love it and when you
Hmm.
want to learn,
You become obsessed.
absolutely. Now you do Brazilian jiu-jitsu, correct?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I'm a blue belt. Unfortunately, I've been out for like I think almost a year now because I tore my
Okay.
ACL. And I when I tore my ACL, it took me a while to get back. And I work for myself, so
Okay.
I couldn't afford it anymore because being a family, uh,
Absolutely.
responsibility. The mortgage, the car notes,
Mhm.
the kids' school. So I had to work my business, but also go back to work and heal myself.
Yeah,
Strengthening my basically my knee because I no longer have support regarding because my ACL just snapped and
that's a rough injury too.
yeah and you know because I'm one of the main providers. That surgery takes 6-9 months, and if everything goes
Yeah.
well.
If
So
it
I
takes,
yeah. So I couldn't really. I didn't want to like I didn't want the surgery because just doing my own research and uh asking people who had the operation, like it made them feel like it made it worse.
yeah,
So maybe one day I'm definitely having plans to return towards it. Just priorities got set, has to be
well, yeah,
first.
you got to take care of your business first. You got
Yeah,
to, take care of family, take care of the priorities. That stuff will come.
yeah.
You just got to be patient.
What I found amazing is that like I graduated to a blue belt and I'm limping because like that was on a Tuesday, and Saturday I had done my first competition,
Oh, right on.
which I that's where I tore it at. So it was like bittersweet because I couldn't really enjoy that first experience as a blue belt, right?
Yeah,
With all my fellow companions who graduated at the same time that I did. So but I do practice alone at my house. I got one of those dummies. I'm constantly like I in my mind I could sit down and I could almost like play like a chess move regarding jiu-jitsu. So I'm like
yeah,
although physically I'm away, I'm always in the game, as one we're saying.
yeah, yeah. Well, I Tyler, my co-host, I wish he was here. Uh, Great example of that. He broke his foot, or he put a spiral fracture in his
Wow.
tibia. Yeah, and this guy, I call him the superhuman on our podcast, and
Mm.
and one of the big reasons why is he's got no quit, and that guy walks in a walking boot, and he's like, everybody's looking at him going, "What the heck happened?" Yeah, I broke my foot. Blah blah blah. Pulls out a notebook, sits down. He's like, "Go do class. I'm gonna watch.
That
I'm
same
watching
thing
today."
here. Same thing
Yeah,
here.
and he's that guy takes notes like I copy off of him. He takes notes like you can't believe. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody take a note,
I
and
started
and
I
it's
started
awesome.
yeah. I'm the same way. But like it took to a point where like I was so obsessed with it, I wanted to go back. I wasn't healing properly. Like the
Yeah.
what I had left, you know, I needed to find a way to recover, to function, to be able
Hmm.
to walk because I was limping so much that like my back started to hurt. I started to get massive pain, and I would walk like to the side a bit. How to get a thing for my back? It was bad because you know I got an autistic son, I got responsible. Like the work doesn't stop. So I'm injured and I'm still doing the best of my ability to live in my normal life, you know. So
Yeah.
it was really hard. So I had to really come to terms and like, all right, I have to block this because if not, I'm never gonna heal. I'm never gonna, do what I gotta do. Because I became insane. I was obsessed.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but like you run the risk of injuring worse,
Yeah.
or something else like your back, and then what?
Mm-hmm.
You can't have that. You got to heal up and take that time.
Mm-hmm.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough.
And then I healed up. Uh, I think I was 6 months, 3 months or 4 months. I was already back, and I was really beginning to roll. But you can't control what other students do. Like the gi is white, so on my leg, under my pants, I had everything protected. But because the gi was white, I put a big ass X, and I was like, just watch my knee, just watch my knee.
Yeah.
But you can't control what other, especially if other people are getting frustrated,
Mm-hmm.
either because they're trying to get in and you're too defensive, or they're trying to get on top, but you're not letting them. You're always escaping. As a human, you get frustrated, and they forget that you're telling them, "Hey, the knee." So that
Yeah.
was another factor, and where like I had to take a step back because, I the risk of responsibilities, kept reoccurring, and I either have to get a surgery or I have to take some time and where I build my knee, strengthen my knee, and where it's not an issue.
For sure. Yeah. And good partners help.
Yeah.
You know, that's where your training partners, they help you get better. They help you learn. They help you learn about yourself. But I teach classes at my buddy's school,
Oh, that's
and
cool. That's awesome.
yeah, everything from I think the 8 years old on up to however old you want to be.
Got it.
Um, but one of the things, we practice a lot together. Pick a partner and let's go. But one of the things that we always are are careful about, and especially newer students, it's like you need to be a good partner. You have to communicate. You got to tell people, hey,
Mm-hmm.
that was too fast, that was too slow, too hard, too soft. Hey, can we do that again? All of those things are only there to benefit you.
Yeah.
If you play the game, if you follow the rules, if you communicate, you will get more out of it. If you just sit there and just let people assume that people
Mm-hmm.
know that your knee's bum,
Yeah.
then you're just asking for trouble.
Correct.
You know?
100%.
Yeah. So like drawing the X on your knee, that's perfect. That not only are you telling them, but like, hey, it's
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
here, plain as day.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah. And it's not like it just it's the nature of the beast because it's a physical sport. Martial arts is a physical sport, but it's like as you grow older in whatever art you practice, you start learning and picking up the philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of individuals are heavily influenced with today's UFC, Bellator, and they're not learning the philosophy. They're learning, smash,
Yeah, yeah.
smash.
I have a love-hate relationship with MMA. I love to watch it. I think it's fascinating. It's a chess match. The downside of it is everyone just wants to smash each other, and
Mm-hmm.
and the martial arts is so much deeper than that. There's so many other aspects to martial arts, the philosophies, the honor system, the code of conduct kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that is so much a part of martial arts and where it truly is, in my opinion. Um, and we get caught up in the flashy and the excitement and the gladiator sport of it.
Yeah.
And so I'm torn from it, because I as much as anybody else love to watch the fight, but on reviewings, on breakdowns of it, that's where you get into the science and the philosophy and the sweet, like boxing's called the sweet science, and it's for a reason. I happen to really love boxing, the sport of boxing, the technique, the chess match, the mental game, all of that makes up for it. But on the surface, it's just two guys or two gals in a ring beating the crud out of each other,
Yeah. I was a huge fan of boxing. I stopped loving boxing and stopped really following it when Miguel Cotto fought what's his name? He was a Mexican fighter and he lost, right? And as a kid watching, I was like, something's wrong. He shouldn't have lost that fight. A couple of years later, it shows that the boxer he was fighting, damn, I can't remember his name. He had something metal in his glove.
Yes, I remember hearing about this. I read an article about it not too long ago. What was that guy's name?
And then he refought him and beat the living crap out of him. But after that, I couldn't do it no more.
Well, yeah, I totally understand. And the ugliness shows sometimes when you have money involved, and especially the kind of numbers they're talking about, that's
huge numbers.
That's a lot of coin.
Yeah, huge numbers.
Yeah, and so you got too many people with their hands out, all asking for a piece of that pie, and
yeah, I saw this. I can't remember the fighter's name, but he's a UFC fighter, where he was breaking it down and like, all right, so I get this amount of money for a fight, but you're not counting the once I get that money, I gotta break it. I gotta pay the coaches, I gotta break the team, the organization they're in. Taxes. Like it's like you're really getting what, 100,000, and if that,
unless you're a big name, yeah, that stuff. It's unfortunate because they've got the fighters got everything to lose: their health, their livelihood. They're the ones risking it.
Yeah,
and they're the ones who should be compensated.
Yeah,
but
I agree. But that's the business,
Yeah,
that's the business,
and we're all involved in some business.
Yeah. What's been your experience doing the podcast? How's that been?
So it's been a learning experience. A lot of I didn't know. A lot of that. A lot of I'm not going to do that again. It's been really, really gratifying to sit down with somebody and just hear them speak from the heart and find out what makes people tick. That has been just super amazing. We've been really fortunate to have all walks of life. I've had doctors. I've had guys who've been through rehab. I've had kids. It's just open to whomever is willing to sit down for as long as we'll let them and talk. And you really learn when you sit down and take the time out to sit still for an hour and listen, truly listen to somebody. You can learn so much. And we don't do that in normal everyday life. It's like, hey, how are you? How's things going? What did you do this weekend? And then it's on to the next thing, And so that I just love this part of it because it allows me to sit down and take a breath and just shut up. really, and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
listen, you know. Um, yeah. One guy who I ran across on Facebook happened to be one of my personal favorites. This guy, Tim the Sack Man. He travels around the country in a Volkswagen bus. He trains martial arts, Muay Thai, predominantly. But I just by chance saw his live video. He posts live every day on either Instagram or Facebook, and uh, this is like martial arts has totally changed his life around. He was basically suicidal,
Wow.
and and he was hospitalized because of this. He got out of the hospital and was like, I need to do something. I'm going to hurt myself or hurt somebody else. And he started punching a punching bag and made him feel better. And he's like, it worked better than anything else he'd tried. And I'll let you know, he needs to tell that
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
Check him out, Tim the Sack Man. Um, but basically, he sold everything he had, put it all into this Volkswagen bus, and has gone and trained with all sorts of different martial artists all over the country. Currently, he is in Florida, I believe. But I follow him to this day. It was just a awe-inspiring story, and it really it it improved my life to
That's
hear him
awesome.
talk
That's
about
awesome.
this,
That
and
was
made me look at martial arts completely
Yeah,
differently.
that's awesome. That was one of the reasons I joined jiu-jitsu. You know,
Yeah.
I did it more for my mental health than anything else. Like I even came out in the school's commercial.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, although they don't show it because it's more what they show is more family oriented. But I did come
Hmm.
out in the commercial because nobody wants to talk about men's mental health. You know,
No,
right?
no, we're men. We're supposed to be
Yeah,
tough.
right. Exactly. There you go. But that's one of the reasons. Well, one of them, not the main reason. Because it did something internally that I had to be broken down or like reset it,
Absolutely.
and that's what jujitsu helped me create for myself, and in order to progress in life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you really can't worry about life when somebody's trying to choke you out, right? You can't worry
Yeah.
about like, oh, I got into a fight with my boss, or I pissed my girlfriend off, or I got bills due. Somebody's trying to choke you out.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the number one concern.
Yeah.
And the cool thing that I've found about martial arts for me is very similar. You know, it just turns the volume down on all of that
Mm-hmm.
BS. And there's a lot of BS out there.
Mm-hmm.
We're constantly inundated with everything. I mean, everybody's got a smartphone. Everybody's connected somehow to the internet. And if you let it, man, it could be a cesspool.
Yeah.
You know, if you spend 5 minutes on Twitter and you can have a bad day.
Yeah.
You spend, if you're looking at the wrong stuff, and it's so easy to do because it just sucks you in. And, for me anyway, it can ruin my day if I let it. And I find, going and trying not to get punched in the face for an hour, it turns the volume down on all that stuff. And it's I'm a better father, a better husband, a better employee, uh, better podcaster when I train.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I always said that a good day, a bad day in whatever martial art you're doing, it's a good day outside in the regular world.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, it's it's awesome. I can go to a class and get my butt handed to me. I can go and lose every match. I can lose every drill we do. and I can come out of there smiling. And I've never experienced anything like that. You play basketball or football or soccer with the neighborhood kids and you lose. That sucks.
Yeah.
Right? You play on a little league team and you lose and you're like kicking the dirt and you're bummed out. I can go to class and lose every second of that hour that I'm there, and I've learned something. I've grown, and I don't know. There's nothing else that I have found personally that's even close to it. And I've been looking.
I think it has to do, something in our DNA, because I tell everyone, like, at the end of the day, humans, like, we're savages, just educated.
Oh yeah.
Like, we need that sense of thrill, that physical, that I don't know what it is that sometimes you just want to punch someone in the face, right? Like, and when you're doing martial arts, you get that satisfaction, but it's also teaching you, if you get willing to give, you gotta be willing to receive.
Yeah.
And that that's what puts us people in our place.
For sure.
Because there's a lot of individuals that could dish it out, love. But it's like I asked them, like, have you ever been punched in the face before? Because if you have, you want to do, doing the dumb shit you do on a normal basis.
Exactly. And I don't know about you, but it makes me a calmer person.
Yeah.
Like I know what it feels like to get punched in the mouth. I know what it feels like to get kicked in the groin. And when your friends do it, that's one thing, but to have a complete stranger try and do it to you, that's a whole nother picture.
Yeah.
And it makes me a better human being, plain and simple. I open the door for people. I let people merge on the freeway. It's like, hey, come on over. No,
it doesn't bother you. It doesn't affect you. It doesn't trigger you. And that's what people love to do. People love to trigger you and then, call you a victim, call themselves the victim when they're the one who initiated everything. So like discipline. That's one of the things that I've been able to enjoy through martial arts is the discipline.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. And discipline is, I don't know if you know who Jocko is, but discipline is freedom.
Love Jocko, man. Jocko,
yeah. He gets heavy sometimes, his podcast gets super heavy, but it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
He has this saying that they did like music, like his, I don't know, like do it or something like that. Good, yes. I downloaded it. I edited it, downloaded it, and like I had it like I replayed it, edited it to like for an hour.
Right on.
So when I like went running or jogging, I would just play it and good.
Yep.
Like that's the most motivational shit ever.
So my wife has a very much love-hate relationship with him because when I'm on the Jocko train, everything's good and everything is discipline equals freedom. And so I've been struggling with my new job lately. I work. I sell soda. I'll just leave it at that. I sell soda. Before that, I sold dental supplies for 17 years, and my company, they didn't quite fold, but it was pretty close, and I was one of the guys that got cut. So I got this new job, and this job is just kicking my butt. 12-hour days. It's tough work, but yeah. So I'm coming home sometimes in a pretty sour mood, and it's caused a bit of strife. So we made this agreement that, and on top of all of that, my wife's gone back to school, and she's got a huge load that she's dealing with school and some other family issues and stuff. But we just made this agreement the other day that like anytime we meet up and one of us are in a bad mood, we have to tell each other good. And sometimes that's the last thing you want to hear,
Yeah.
but it's like, okay, I need to check myself. Am I legitimately complaining about something, or am I just whining to hear myself
I
whine?
mean, I think it's at the end, I think it's all valid, in a
Oh yeah.
sense, compared to other individuals that are just not doing anything with their life. I mean, you just got it off, you got a new job, you know, stretch 12 hours, man. Like, I
And
used to
it's
hate doing doubles,
yeah,
16 hours straight. So
yeah,
like,
yeah.
her with her school, be able to have that discipline, doing homework, which projects with essays, writing. That's like I've noticed for me, like when my mind is good and my body's not, I can still go. But when my
Mhm.
mind is not good and my body is, I can't go.
Yep.
Clarity in the mindset is it's crazy. I mean, so guys, you're doing the best that you can. Kudos to
Yeah.
both for you, man. And if it works, it works.
Well, you have to find stuff that work,
Yeah.
and discipline. I truly believe it now. Discipline does equal freedom. But the other one that I like a lot is attitude is everything. If you go
Yes.
into something with a crap attitude, I don't care what
Yes.
you're doing, it's not going to be your best effort.
Yeah.
So you have to have a good attitude about whatever it is that you're doing, and you can, pardon the expression, but you can shovel shit with a good attitude
Hmm.
and get it done.
Yeah.
You know, um, that
Gratitude, a good attitude equals gratitude. And that's all
attitude,
we can hope for. So
that's right. Yeah.
I remember I used to clean toilets, man. You know,
Hey.
I worked security for like 8 years, got to the top, suit and tie, managing people, man. Then I left the industry because I would never the position I wanted. I just, I knew that certain politics, I'm not an ass kisser, so I know I would never reach any potential. So start from scratch, cleaning toilets, but do it proudly with a great attitude, right?
Yeah.
And then I worked myself up, to operation manager, and life goes on. But it's like you said, you gotta have a good attitude. But one of
Yeah.
the things, like in my experience, like if home is not good, you're not going to be good. Make sure your home is good, and then everything else comes.
Yeah. Yeah. And it the home thing, absolutely. I'm right there with you. And uh, you know, uh, if you bring good home, good comes back.
Yeah, man.
It doesn't matter what happens outside these four walls. I've got people that I love and people that love me. So I'm grateful for that. That alone, right there, most people would kill for that. You know, um, so I try to be conscious of what I bring home.
Yeah, man.
In regards to me, my attitude when I walk in that front door, I need to be, doesn't matter what happened outside, but I need to be as the best person I can be when I come home. And
Yeah.
sometimes that's hard to remember, you
Yeah,
know.
man. Yeah.
We're all human. We're all human,
Yeah.
you know. We all have our baggage that we bring with us. And some days it's super easy and I don't have a problem with it and I could be that best version of myself. But there are times when, I need to
No,
check
you're tired. You haven't got a good night's sleep. Because that's the other thing. Everybody wants something at the end of the day. Whether it's your
yeah.
family, whether it's a job, like if rest is important, especially when we're getting up there at age. Like I'm a grumpy motherfucker. Like I need my sleep. Like I was very as a child. I had family members that were very inconsiderate with me when it came to my sleep. So like as an adult, like if I don't have a good night's sleep, oh, it's on like Donkey Kong, baby. Like and I do my best, and I continue to do my best, but like at some point you gotta like you got to hold yourself accountable, but you also got to let it be known, and people need
Yeah.
to need to respect that, because just like they want you to respect them, they also need to respect you. And
Well,
you
it's
do
two-way
your
street.
exactly. So like, the best we could do is try our best, man. Try our
Yeah.
best. Because being a dad, like, I I care, like I'm my son's main caretaker. He's autistic, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'm always fluctuating through jobs and call me right back home to my son.
Okay.
Right. So like I will leave for 3-4 months job, then leave, come back, my son. My wife, kudos to her. She's the backbone of this family doing her real estate. And I work with her real estate, um I do property scouting for her,
Okay.
but yet again, she's the backbone. Like I'm here, but I'm here. And
Yeah.
I gotta give her a big shout out. Because of her, I wouldn't be able to do this, right? But yet again, it's people have to understand that you're not perfect, and you're just trying to do the best that you can.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
you gotta, as a man, like I tell people get annoyed with me, right? But I love myself. I'm not gonna put myself in that predicament. I'm not gonna have that argument. Doesn't matter how much is needed, because if that moment is gonna uh trigger something that I don't want it to be, and that's not my best version, I'm not gonna have it. I'm not gonna eat shit if I don't have to.
That's
You
smart, though.
know?
That's smart. Don't fight that battle. It's pick your battles.
Yeah.
If you can pick them. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you get ambushed, and that's just you're gonna go through the mud.
Yeah.
But other times you can see it and go, we're not doing that today.
It's predictable. It's,
Yeah.
it's the pattern is predictable, but you got to do your best, and some days that's your best. And for as long as you realize it, well, and that's a lot of things as a man, most of us don't realize our shortcomings, and
Mm-mm.
that's like the cheat code. Because like, if you can realize it, and if sometimes you can see ahead of coming, that's a cheat code to, all right, try to prevent or better whatever's going on.
Yeah.
So like, mostly like, it's putting our egos to the side. It's putting our egos aside and try to be understanding, and hope they understand us. But as long as you're able to understand yourself and know where your limits are, because you have to set limits to certain things. You have to set boundaries, because the world, especially nowadays, like in California, it's crazy, right? So you gotta put boundaries, because now
For sure.
people are gonna just continue to trigger you, and you gotta step away. It's dodge, like boxing, you're dodging.
Yep. Bob and weave.
Exactly. There you go.
Right on. I love that. The cheat code. I love that term. I'm going to use that. That's good. That is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, man. You live enough that you either start learning the lesson, or you're gonna continue to make the mistakes.
It's no fun making mistakes.
No, man. I
You got
try.
to.
Yeah. I try not to. I don't like to overcomplicate myself. I don't like to break my head when I don't have to. I don't like to do the work
Absolutely.
twice. You got
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
gotta think you gotta think your way out of problems sometimes.
Absolutely. Breathe, breathe.
Oh man. Yeah.
Gotta get that oxygen going.
Yeah.
Breathe and think.
Yeah. 100%, man.
You
So how
know,
long? Yeah.
go
No,
ahead.
go,
Go
no,
ahead.
go ahead.
Okay. What I was going to say is, martial arts, and I don't care what martial art it is such a thinking game.
Hmm.
It is such a thinking game, and I wish more people realized that. You know, there's so many aspects to it, and it's that pond is so deep.
Mm.
Most people don't realize it, to the casual observer. Jiu-jitsu is just two
Hmm.
two people rolling around on the ground.
Yeah.
But it's so deep is into faking it out, into making you think I'm going to go for an arm bar, and I rear naked choke, or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. But there's so much at play, and it's really a battle of wills, and a battle of can I outsmart you?
Yeah.
More so, not more so, but just as much as it is physical. Just as much as it is physical.
Yeah.
I remember the first time grappling with somebody who knew what they were doing, and I'm 30 seconds into it, I'm drenched in sweat, I'm out of breath, and I'm dying. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
And they're they're not breaking a sweat, they're not breathing hard, and they're just relaxed, and they're calm as can be. Like, if you didn't know any better, that guy could have rolled over and took a nap right then and there. And I was like, okay, I got to learn how to do that. I don't know
Yeah.
what you're doing right now, but I need to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So sorry, I didn't mean to jump in
No,
and
no,
interrupt you.
no, 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 no apologies. I get 100% where you're saying. Like, I don't toot my own horn, but I know in jiu-jitsu, if I would have continued, I think I'd be really good, because like it's a difference. Like, when I used to roll, there's nobody I'm short.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody my size. Everyone
Okay.
it's bigger and bigger, right? You get what I'm saying? Like, from
Yeah, I
height
got
and
you.
width, right? So like
Yeah.
I have to overcompensate
Mm-hmm.
everything. I have to exceed in my work, whatever I'm doing. I have to do it over times two.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody who has long legs, I have to put double the work in to not get tangled into their guard. But
Yeah.
also it's a lot of people in jiu-jitsu they underestimate their opponent. So like if I'm on the floor and I have fucking a 200 and I have guy on me, right? Just laying on me and trying to choke
Yeah.
me, do something, like I gotta take that squishiness until I wait for the proper time, whether it's he lift his arm or lift his leg or just trying to fix himself, and that's my to scoot out. Now I got the
Yeah.
back. Now I got the arm. So it's a patient game. It's a way, and it doesn't work in competitions though, because in competition it's 5 minutes, right? So you got to
Oh, so
go.
you're racing the clock.
Yeah, and that's like
Yeah.
that's what I'll say in training in an academy or a dojo. I'm not sure what you guys call yours. It's totally different when it comes to competition time. Like, I'm here, they'll put on the clock for 3 minutes, and it's changing, right?
Yeah.
But in a tournament, there's no changing. If the clock goes, you're on the bottom. You got to figure a way how to get yourself out of there, get yourself position of dominance, earn a point, and all before the timer ends out. And you got to do it quick because time goes quick. And try
Yeah,
not to,
for sure.
not trying to make yourself tired. So it's a lot.
Well, or and every mistake counts.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's a sprint compared to a marathon for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And me rolling bigger individuals just push me to work harder and work more. So like,
Hmm.
they'll do the drills. There's people here like me. There was people doing drills just half-assed it. You gotta fall through. If the drill is, I don't know, getting up and getting on your opponent's stomach, fall through like if you're doing it for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Don't
want to be
just
careful.
go through the motions.
Yeah. So that your body starts becoming accustomed to that. Because the more you do it
Hmm.
half-assed, you're not falling completely. So it's in a tournament, you're like it's a game of repetition. The more you do it, your body will do it for you. You get what I'm saying? No, you know, I'm just
without
rambling.
even thinking about it. Yeah, no,
Yes,
I got you. I got
yes,
you. That's the you know who Miyamoto Musashi is? I probably butchered his name. The Book of Five
yes,
Rings.
yes. Joe Rogan
Train how
has
you
his arm
fight.
tattoo. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, train how you fight, fight how you train. And that all comes down to half-assing it.
yeah,
Are you just going through the motions or are you doing it? And
exactly.
you got to do it.
You know, like
You got to do it.
my wife at one point, you know, she would tell me, "No mercy, no mercy," right? Because
Yeah.
some days I was just dragging. I'm sore, my body's all bruised up. I'm doing the
Uh-huh.
best to not, you know, lose it. And you know, she was telling me like, "You're gonna go today, no mercy." And every day I will
Go.
go in like the level of like I will take my level of competitiveness and implement it in a way that's just normal. That even if I didn't want to do it, that's just how it's gonna come out.
Yeah.
And
You gotta,
it was frustrating people, you know. But once you implement that playing field, you're gonna be ready and prepared for a lot of things.
you got to do all the stuff you hate to do like you love it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and that's why like I used the biggest guy in the room. Let me go with him. I'll get my you know, like you said, I get my ass handed to me, but I knew the more I roll with that guy, the
The better
better,
you're going to be.
the better, the better I will, you know, turn out. So that when I roll with him again, I'm not just somebody he's handing. I'm somebody he has to earn a tap, earn to get a position, earn to do whatever. And then when I'll go with the regular guys, you know, it was just it's a breeze. It's a waiting game,
Mhm.
patient. You know, you become a critical thinker.
Absolutely. But not only that, you become a better partner for the new guy or
Yeah,
for the guy who doesn't have that experience. It's like, whoa, what's you know what's happening here? I got to
mhm.
figure this out.
Yeah,
Um, I always advocate that you train with somebody better than you,
yes,
somebody faster than you, somebody smarter than you, and the opposite of that as well. Somebody slower, somebody newer, some beginner, because they're going to bring something to the table that you're not that you may or may not have seen,
hmm,
and it's going to cause you to work outside your box that you're
yeah,
comfortable in, on both sides of that spectrum.
yeah,
That better guy is going to make you elevate you.
yeah,
That worse guy is going to make you perfect what you've got.
100%.
And you can be a teacher. You know, you could show that new person some ropes, make them go, oh, I'm not going to make that mistake again. Or, hey, how did you do that? You know, that kind of thing. And I think when you show somebody something, you learn, you know, that's when you know that you know it.
Yeah,
You know, if you have to explain how you do something, it solidifies it for you,
yeah, 100%.
you know. Yeah.
Have you?
I go ahead.
No, no, go finish.
I was going to say I'm a big advocate for that, and our school is an advocate for that. Once you have experience, once you have a belt,
Yeah,
you are you are expected to show people below you stuff. You're expected to help, not
yeah.
necessarily teach, but you're expected to help them, because it solidifies it for you. It helps cement that in and make sure that you know what you're doing.
No,
And our
you have to be like a form of a role model.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
that's what I think a lot of like I tell you, jiu-jitsu has good, has bad, it has people that you can't stand. Like it's an ego thing. And they don't
Hmm.
take, you know, and this is where like I told you, like the philosophy is no longer there. It's more like train, fight, and get paid and whatnot, right? And
Yeah.
you know, once you have a sense of responsibility of being a role model. So you can't go and take advantage or do stupid things that will get somebody less than you doesn't know uh hurt in a sense because the sense of your disgrace to the organization, disgrace to yourself, disgrace to the belt, you lose respect.
For sure. Yeah. 100%. I dig.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, in your adventure, doing your mixed martial art, when you're sparring with somebody, right? Have you ever been told, yeah, let's take it easy, I'm kind of tired, and then you start taking it easy, and then next thing the other person is going 100 miles per hour, you're like, I thought we were taking it easy, and then you just start taking advantage of you?
For sure. For sure. Generally those people are a little more green.
Yeah.
And they're not used to that adrenaline dump that happens, because that's not for everyday person. That's not something that happens all the time.
Yeah.
And even if we're going light, we're still throwing punches and kicks at each other, or elbows and knees, or trying to choke each other. That's an adrenaline dump. And even if they, I've literally gone with somebody, we've agreed to go a certain speed, a certain level of impact, and next thing you know, they're swinging for the fences, and you're like, hey, slow down, and they're going, I am. They have no recollection of it. They have no idea that they're trying to hurt you, and so if you're in the right frame of mind, you stop and you go, okay, we're gonna go even slower, and we're gonna wade out into this deep water slow. I can laugh at it now, but for the first couple times that happens, it's like, dude, what did I do? Did I piss you off? But yeah, it happens. It happens. And it happens with everyone. We were all beginners once, and we all made those mistakes, but as somebody with a little bit of experience in that, yeah, you kind of smile, or at least I do. I kind of smile at myself, just because I'm like, I know what you're going through. I've been there. I've done. And that just comes with the it's the nature of the beast. It just, you get exposed to it. You've been choked out. You've been tapped out. You know what an arm bar feels like. Yeah. And the first time it was like, what's happening? This is a foreign thing, and I don't know. I've never experienced this before. So I try to remember that is that way for people. But some, or on the other end of that too, I've had kids that were just so excited to be there, and they're just they don't know what to do with all of that, and they're just lashing out and having a good time, not conscious of the fact that they're punching or kicking or trying to choke you, or whatever the case may be. And you're like, okay, whoa, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah.
Pump the brake, dude. So
I got a concussion one time. I got kneed in the head.
Oh, yeah.
A new student. So I get 100% what you're saying, man. Dustin, it's been an honor talking to you, man. We got to do this again.
Absolutely. This is everything I wanted it to be and more, man. Thank you very much. Truly appreciate it.
It's an honor, man. Just anything you need, just hit me up. Before we go, tell the people they can find you at.
Yeah. So I don't have a website yet. That's in the works. It'll be theformlesspodcast.com or something similar to that. But you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all at the Formless Podcast. We have an open Facebook group called the Formless Podcast. Basically, I just post updates there to the podcast, what we're doing, who we're interviewing, who we're talking to, that sort of thing. Our podcast can be found on all of the streaming services, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, all of those.
Boom. There you have it, guys. Go make sure you go follow him, go support him. Go check his podcast out. It's amazing. The last one, 45, was super funny and fun. Definitely go check that out. Make sure you go to DIOTALK TV. on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Go check me out and follow me at Mr.DreamsPowerTane on Threads and on Instagram. I'm out, guys. Have a good night.